So chapter number 7 for today. We are glad that chapter 7, we are in chapter 7, and only if today is, we can finish halfway, then we have chapter number 8, and halfway of, half of the chapter number 7 is remaining. Okay, so the name of this chapter number 7 is money and banking. Money and banking. So money and banking is this chapter is the most important chapter, because this chapter is more related to the daily life. Okay, so first point is first we are going to define money. 7.1 money we are going to define here, and 7.1 is definition of money. Now, what do you mean by money? What is money actually? Can you tell me something about money? Why you define, how you define money?
Money is a medium of market.
Medium of market. And anybody else? Anybody else? Money, what is the meaning of money? Why money is needed? So to define money, we need to understand what is the functions of money, and then we can define money. Okay, so what are the functions of money? Functions of money. The functions of money actually, number one, first function is it is medium of exchange. Medium of exchange. So if you suppose you want to buy Q, quantity of goods and services. So if you want to buy Q amount of goods and services, you need money. Okay, so you need money. So you exchange money and get this, and those who are supplying Q, they are getting money, and you are supplying money. So you are a money supplier, and the seller is good supplier. So exchange between money and good. Okay, commodity, money. So it is exchange, medium of exchange. Second function is it is store of value. Store of value. That means money, suppose you have 100 taka note. So it is actually storing the value of 100 taka worth of goods and services. So suppose you are buying Q amount of goods, and if it is 100 taka, so this 100 taka is stored in this 100 taka money. Okay, taka or any currency, maybe dollar, maybe euro, maybe pound, British pound, maybe Canadian dollar, maybe US dollar, UK, Australian dollar. So these are store of value. That means if you think about the 1000 taka note, then you always think about how much value is stored to buy goods and services of worth 100 taka. Okay, so this is store of value. Third function of money is it is unit of account. Similarly, store of value, there is a unit of account. Okay, so if you think about goods and services like Q amount of goods and services, you are considering the value of these goods and services in money unit. Okay, so suppose you have a pen, so maybe this in taka unit it is 100 taka pen. Okay, so if you have a pen in your hand and you want to sell this pen, maybe you are claiming 100 taka to sell this And if you find a buyer, then he can give you 100 taka. So unit of account. Everything in this world is measured in money unit. Okay. If something is measured not in money unit, then it is not actually the economic good. It is some other good. Okay. But if something is claimed to be economic good, it must have some value, and this value is measured in money unit. So the functions of money is one of the functions of money is unit of account. Fourth function is something like deferred payment. Deferred payment. Deferred payment is something like if you want to suppose you don't have any money, but you want to buy a good Q. Okay, so you don't have any money, you can borrow money from bank or from individual. So borrow money from bank or individual. And when you borrow money, as a borrower, you can go for condition that after 1 year, I will give you some, maybe if you borrow money 100 taka, after 1 year, you will have to give back 105 taka if you are in interest transaction. And if you are in not interest transaction, you can return 100 taka and after 1 year. So this is called deferred payment. Deferred payment means you pay some money to others in this year, pay this year, and get back with increment or without increment. Increment if interest is there, without increment if no interest is there. Get back after some time, maybe 1 year, after some time. So this is actually deferred. That means you are getting money at present time and you can return this money in future time. This is called deferred payment. So money has this function. So we have got 4 functions of money. One is called medium of exchange. Second is store of value. Third is unit of account. And fourth and final one is deferred payment. There are other functions of money, but these are 4 major functions. 4 major functions. Okay, 4 major functions of money. So we now can define money. Money is a commodity. Money is itself a commodity which has 4 functions like medium of exchange, store of value, unit of account, okay, unit of account, and deferred payment. I can add a word here, standard deferred payment. Standard deferred payment. Okay, so this is the functions of money. All right. Now, let's move to the second point, 7.2. 7.2 is demand for money. Can you mute yourself, please? Demand for money. If I ask you a question, then you unmute, okay? But always mute yourself. Demand for money. Now tell me why we demand money? What are the reasons for demand money? The question is why we demand money. Any idea about why we demand money? Anybody can tell me why we demand money? For what reason?
As we can
Increasing
exchange.
abilities to buy something.
So we want to buy. That means, let me write down. We want to buy goods and services. Okay, and basically this one is the I mean, most important reasons for demand for money. Okay, want to buy something. So if you want to buy something, you need to have money in your pocket. Okay. Any idea about second type or second reasons? Second reason. Second reason is something like you save money for what? For why you are saving money? Save money.
Investment.
Save money for investing, or for protecting protecting yourself from risk, protecting from risk. Okay. All right, or maybe any future use. Okay, so these are the major reason why we demand for money. So economists classify this major reasons as number one, transaction demand for money. Demand for money. So transaction demand for money is something like you want to buy goods and you give money. So buy goods and exchange money. That means you are actually selling money for buying goods. Exchange money. Okay, so buy goods and services, not actually goods, it is also goods and services. Okay, so this is called transaction demand for money. Second, these 1 and 2 and 3, these are called modes of motive of money demand. Motives of money demand, MD. Second is precautionary demand for money. Precautionary demand for money. What is precautionary demand? What do you mean by precautionary? I said that you save money to invest or to protect from risk or future use. Okay, so when you are another name of this precautionary demand for money is rainy day money. Rainy day money. Why it is called rainy day money? Because suppose all on a sudden there is a rain, you face rain. So instead of walking, so you get on a rickshaw or bus to go to your place. So you need extra money for rain. Extra money for rain. Okay. So in your pocket, there's some amount of money you keep in your pocket, or you keep in your wallet so that you can use when you are in when you are facing some risk, or maybe you think that it will be used in future. Okay, you keep some money aside so that you can use when you are in danger, or when you are in a risky situation, or in like a rainy day. All right, so you keep some money. So this is called precautionary demand for money. So precaution means, caution means you are taking measures to protect yourself from risk, or for other future use. Okay, now third type of motives for money demand is called speculative demand for money. Speculative demand for money. And this speculative demand for money is, another name is called investment demand for money, or business demand for money. Investment demand or business demand. Investment demand or business demand. Okay, business demand. What is that? Suppose I mean, every person in this world, maybe he or she is business person or non-business person. So those who are business person, they have a briefcase called portfolio. And this portfolio contains two items. One is called money, and other is called bond. Money and bond. Money is for transaction and precautionary purpose, or investment purpose, and bond is an investment good. So you earn profit, pie, and interest rate from bond. Okay, all right. So when you buy bond, that means you sell money. So bond and money are exchanged for each other. Okay, so suppose you are going to buy bond, or you are going to invest in business. So what you do, you invest money to do business, or you buy bond in exchange of money. That means you are selling money to buy bond. This behavior is called investment behavior, and this for this reason you need money, and that money is called speculative demand for money, or investment demand for money, or business demand for money. Okay, business demand for money. All right, so we understand that there are three motives for money demand. One is called transaction demand for money, other is called second one is precautionary demand for money, and third one is business demand for money, or speculative demand for money. Okay, so let's do so let's express this motive demand for money in equation. So demand for money, demand for money in equation. So demand for money is MD divided by P. MD is nominal demand. MD is nominal demand. And MD upon P is real demand for money. Real real demand for money. Demand for money. You don't need to be more serious about these two terms, but just remember the name of the term. So MD divided by money demand divided by price is real demand for money, and which is equal to small ky, okay, small ky minus IH, where K, small k, and H is positive, and this the name of this two parameter is called sensitivity of demand for money, demand for real balance. Sensitivity of demand for real balance or real money. Okay. Okay. And this K is sensitivity to transaction and precautionary, transaction and precautionary, and I is the rate of interest, which is related to business, okay, or investment. Okay. So now this part is of this equation is called number one and number two. Number one plus number two motive. Number two motive. Number one is transaction demand for money, and number two is precautionary demand for money. Precautionary demand for money, and this part is called speculative demand for money. Speculative demand for money, and there is a negative sign because there is a negative relationship between I and money. So when I increase, money decrease, money demand decrease. Okay, why? Because from the portfolio we know that portfolio has money and bond. Okay, so bond has a positive relationship with interest rate. So if interest rate is high, you want to go for buying bond. Okay, but you sell or you sell money. So that's why there is a negative relationship between money and bond, but positive relationship between bond and interest rate. Okay, so that's why money has negative relationship with interest rate. That's why minus sign is here. Okay, minus sign is there. So KY is actually transaction demand for money plus precaution demand for money, and IH is part of I mean this part is for speculative demand for money. If we draw equation for demand for money, we can draw in this way. So this is x-axis is for money demand, and this axis is for interest rate. Okay, so money demand function is something like this. So this is money demand function. So if interest rate is this much, so we demand money demand is that much, and one. If interest rate decrease, I1, so money demand increase. First one is M0 and second one is M1. Okay, so this is demand for money equation. All right. Okay. Now let's move to this demand for money has 0.7.2. Okay, 7.2. Now go for 7.3 is our supply of money. Supply of money. Now, can you tell me who is responsible for supply of money? Of course, money demand is from consumer side. Who is supply money?
Central bank.
Central bank. Thank you. Central bank supply money. Central bank is an agent who supply money. That means central bank prints money. There are other agents who are also responsible for money supply. They are called commercial banks, COB. Central bank is CB, commercial bank, COB. Okay, commercial bank, COB. They are part of the money supply. Although they don't print money, commercial bank never print money, but they are part of the money supply. Okay. Also, part of the money supply is called non-bank financial institutions. Non-bank financial institutions, NBFI. Those who are not doing banking job, but they are doing investment job. Suppose helping you for buying and selling stocks in the stock market, or they are, I mean, maybe they are lease finance. They give a big amount of money to maybe building your residence, or I mean real estate business, or maybe supplying money for roads and highway like Padda Bridge or something like that. Okay, big investment is there. So these money are supplied by non-bank financial institutions as well as bank. Okay, so the difference between non-bank financial institutions and banks are actually commercial bank, COB. Commercial banks are accepting savings from the, I mean, deposits from the customer, and they are not, I mean, NBFI are not accepting deposits. They are getting money from any other sources like central bank. Okay, all right. They borrow money from either commercial bank or central bank and lend this money from this amount to the customer. But commercial bank either borrow money from central bank or take deposits from the consumer, or I mean individuals in the country, so that they can lend money. Okay, all right. Now let's move to the next page, and we are going for 7.3.1, which is component of money supply. Components of money supply. Now, first component of money supply is something like C, and C is not, as you learned from the earlier chapter, is consumption. It is actually currency outside bank. Currency outside bank. And what is currency outside bank actually? What is currency outside bank? The other name of currency outside bank is explanatory, something like cash in hand. Cash in public hand. Okay, cash in public hand. So these are called currency outside bank. It is not inside the bank, so it is currency outside bank. So this is the one per component, first component of money. Okay, money supply. Second component is is something like is a deposit, demand deposit. Demand deposit. And what is demand deposit? Demand deposits is something like if you have extra money in your pocket, then you can save money in the bank, deposits in the bank, deposits in the bank, on condition that you get this money. Condition is get this money on demand. Money on demand. That means you have bank account, and if you have bank account, you can you can write check to withdraw money at any time. So this is called demand deposit or checkable deposit. See, checkable deposit, and normally these are called current account. Current account, CA. Current account means whatever may be the amount you demand, bank manager will give you that amount of money if you write down a check. Okay, current account, the business person use this current account, so he writes some money on this account, and bank manager is bound to give him or her the amount required by him or her. So this is called checkable deposit. Okay, other is called savings deposit, savings account. And savings account is you are depositing money for savings reason, and there's some withdrawal restriction is there, maybe once a week, once a week or twice a week, once a week or maybe twice a week, you can withdraw money. Twice a week, you can withdraw money. So this is called savings account. Okay, and current account is you can withdraw money anytime you like. Okay, savings account, there is a withdrawal restrictions are there. So bank manager will say that no, you cannot withdraw money because you have withdraw money more than twice a week, or maybe there's some minimum amount you should take deposit in the account. Okay. So third item is called time deposit. And what is time deposit? Time deposit is more restriction on this. So suppose you are depositing money for 3 to 5 years or more. Okay, 5 years. So time restriction. Restriction is there. If you want to withdraw money before this stipulated time, you will lose, interest. Okay, maybe some interest will be deducted from your account. Okay, but if you withdraw money after the maturity, this is called maturity. Maturity period is 3 years to 5 years or maybe 10 years. Okay, if it is deposited 10 years, if you withdraw money before 10 years, you lose some interest. So this is called time deposit. Okay, time deposit, demand deposit, and currency deposit. Currency outside bank or cash in hand. So these are the three major. These are the major component. Major component. There are other components are there. We are not discussing these components because we want to make our life easy. Okay, all right. So when we are, in terms of component, there are two types of, two types of money, two types of money. One is called narrow money, which is M1. M1 equals just first one, C plus DD, demand deposit. Okay, and second type of money is called broad money. M2, which is called M1 plus time deposit. Okay, broad money, narrow money and broad money. Okay, we are not going for extra broad money because there are some M3. We are not going for that. We are not going for M3 for the simplicity. We are restricting ourselves from to M2. Okay, so M1 is C plus D, currents 1 and 2, and M3 is C plus DD plus TD. So these three items are together is called broad money. Narrow money is just currency outside bank and demand deposit. Okay, so these are the components of money. Okay, understood? Do you have any question up to this? Any question? No question? Understood clearly? Okay. The next item is the last item for today's class. Okay, so this is 7.3.2. 7.3.2, which is balance sheet of central bank and commercial bank. Balance sheet of central bank and commercial bank. So let me tell you something about balance sheet. What is balance sheet? Balance sheet is nothing but your a description of your assets and liabilities. Assets and liabilities. So assets and liabilities are described in the balance sheet. So why it is called balance sheet? Because your assets should be equal to your liabilities. Okay. So everything in this world is either asset or liability. Okay. So if you have something like real estate. So if you want to buy an asset, maybe you are taking loan from the bank. So you are creating liability. Okay. So loan is your liability, but loan is bank's asset. Okay. All right. So suppose deposits, bank deposit. So bank deposit should have some I mean identity like asset and liability. Bank deposit is bank customers or bank customers asset, but liability of whom? Liability, it is liability of bank. Okay, liability of bank. So in this way we can make balance sheet. So if we consider the balance sheet of central bank CB, we can make an asset liability schedule, and this asset liability schedule is called T account. It is something like T. So if you make a T account, left side is called assets and right hand side is called liabilities. Okay, assets and liabilities. And finally, you see that finally you are finding total asset and total liability. Okay, so you are going to write down some 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's some amount here, and you are adding some these amounts to be amount as total asset. Okay, so first item of central bank as asset is reserve. We'll learn this in the next class. It is called reserve. Reserve is the asset of central bank, but liabilities of commercial bank. Okay, what is reserve? Reserve is commercial bank COB's deposit in central bank. Deposit in central bank. COB's deposits in central bank is called reserve. So, sorry. No, this is not actually COB's deposit in central bank. This is sorry. Here I'm making some mistake here. Let me figure it out. Let me see. This is actually a balance sheet for central bank, for commercial bank, not central bank. Let me find out the balance sheet for where is it? Okay. Sorry, this is not the right one. This is actually I'm going for the balance sheet of commercial bank actually. So let me erase this. Okay, so the first item of central bank asset is securities and treasury bill. Securities and treasury bill, T-bills. And securities and treasury bills are, central bank sells treasury bills to either commercial bank or government. So in exchange of treasury bill, government sell treasury bill to central bank. So in exchange of money, government gets money from central bank, and in exchange of money, government sell treasury bill. So that's why treasury bill is the asset of central bank, but liability of government or commercial bank. Okay, so securities and treasury bill is the first item in the asset, and then second item is the asset is loan to either commercial bank, COB, loan to COB. Okay, and maybe third item is let me end here. Third item is other item. There are many items, but let's call for the sake of simplicity as others. So these three items is the asset of central bank. One is securities and treasury bill. Second is loan to commercial bank. Okay, that means central bank can give loan to commercial bank, and other items are there. Now, what is the liabilities of commercial bank? Central bank. So item number one for liability is currency outside bank. Currency outside bank is the liability of commercial bank. Can you mute yourself, please?
Bolo.
Kavit Hassan, can you mute yourself? Okay, currency outside bank, we can call it as C. C is the liability of commercial bank. Kavit Hassan, mute yourself. Can anybody tell Kavit Hassan to mute himself? Okay, so currency outside bank is the liability of commercial bank. C is the liability of not commercial bank, central bank, liability of central bank, but assets of public. Those who are holding this money, public. Okay. Second item is deposits. Commercial bank COBs deposits. That is what I said in the earlier. Commercial banks deposit in CB. So it is another name is called reserve. It is called reserve. Reserve is actually liability. Deposits is reserve is liability of CB, but assets of COB. Assets of COB. Reserve is liability of CB, but assets of COB. Okay. And third item could be miscellaneous or other item. Others. So this is the balance sheet of central bank. And Now we are talking about the balance sheet of commercial bank, and this is the last item in this class for today. Okay, so what is the balance sheet of commercial bank? Balance sheet of commercial bank. Again, we draw T account, and this side is asset, and that side is liabilities. So assets of commercial bank and liabilities of commercial bank. Okay. Now, what is the first item of commercial bank as assets? First item of commercial bank is, as I said earlier, reserve. Okay, so what is commercial bank in central bank? Okay, deposits